Welcome back to Slothbox. I'm Lyndon Dixon, and this is the preview show where, as you know, we only talk about the biggest and best boxing of the weekend. And what a cracker we have. I feel like this is the first big weekend of boxing across all the promotional companies of the year. And I mean, you've got Jaime Munguia against Ryder out in America later on. You've got the Crocker versus Felix show for DAZN out in Belfast. And then you've got a lovely little show at York Hall with Casey Kadimi headlining, fighting for that IBO flyweight title. But we're going to start in chronological order, finish with the Munguia Ryder fight. We're going to start with Lewis Crocker against Jose Felix for the WBO Intercontinental welterweight title. And for me, there's some cracking fights on that card, and I'll get into that in a minute. But the headliner, Lewis Crocker, for me, is one of the most underrated prospects in the UK. He really has got a big future ahead of him, and a year that I'm excited to see. I feel like each fight he's taking seems like they're all slight step ups, and he looks class in each one of them with Billy Nelson. So yeah, Jose Felix, you might remember that name because he beat Gary Cully last time out, third round knockout, and he was the underdog in that fight. Well, he's the underdog again in this fight, so it's no easy touch for Lewis Crocker. It really isn't. But again, you can't doubt this man. I'm expecting another top performance from Crocker and a really exciting 2024 for this man. But elsewhere on the card, you've got, in my opinion, the best cruiserweight in the country in Chev Clark against Ireland's Tommy McCarthy. Now, that for me is the best fight of the weekend. Because Chev Clark, he hasn't got world titles yet, but talent-wise, he is the best cruiserweight in the country, and this year, you're about to see that. He's fighting for that WBA Intercontinental belt against Tommy McCarthy. Now, Tommy McCarthy he's an old dog, but old dogs are dangerous. They are very, very dangerous. Tommy McCarthy lost his last fight against Sislak, I think, but he's at a bit of a crossroads. He's 33. What happens if he loses? What happens if he loses in devastating fashion to Chev Clark? What does he do next? So he knows that there's a lot of shit on the line for him this weekend. Whereas Chev Clark, it's the same thing. If it's a hard night against Tommy McCarthy, is he ready for those world title fights that he's been calling for? But if he puts on a statement performance, a lovely knockout, he's going to be calling those names. You wait for that post-fight presser. He's going to be calling out all those big names. The people that have been avoiding him, he's going to be calling from. And we'll talk about the outcome of that in the review show, which I'm very excited for. But elsewhere in the card, you've got Paddy Donovan having his first fight of the year. And he's another brilliant Irish talent that I'm excited to see what happens this year. Anyway, moving on from that DAZN card in Belfast. So that'll be on at a usual time, starting around 6 or 7. So make sure you tuned in to watch that. But we've got a lovely little show, Nelson Boxing, joining up with Warren Boxing Management for this one. It'll be live streamed on the Queensbury YouTube channel. So if you're thinking of boxing, what boxing to watch, but you can't be bothered to pay the money, there it is right there. Casey Kadimi now, he's a great talent, but he's got this IBO world title shot. And on BoxRec, I was just having a little look earlier just to see what his opponent had done. Casey Kadimi is ranked on BoxRec like 114th in the world. So to have a world title shot this early in your career, headlining a show at York Hall, crazier things have happened. Like, imagine if he wins. Imagine if he wins that world title this early on in his career with that ranking. It's going to be special. So like I say, that's live on Queensbury. That'll be around 9 o'clock, I think. But check out the socials to keep up with that one. But I feel like you're going to want to tune in to see what happens because both men are sort of unknown quantities at world level. So let's see what happens. I can't wait for the review show to talk about that. But the last fight we're going to end on is the little occasion of Jaime Munguia against the gorilla, Ryder. Now, Ryder's last fight out, he lost to Canelo. And again, it's a tall order to beat Canelo. Only Mayweather's done it. And you could argue Golovkin, but we won't get into that today. Now, Jaime Munguia, if he beats Ryder, Ryder is the man in front of him that's stopping those potential Canelo, Benavidez, Plant, Charlo fights. All that could happen this year for Munguia if he wins. But that's a big if. Us UK fans, we know how tough John Ryder is. He's got a granite chin. He's got a heavy hand. Can Munguia beat him? Now, John Ryder's the underdog in this one, out in Phoenix. I'm not sure. I'm not going to call. I'm going to sit on the fence. I know you hate it when I sit on the fence, but I'm going to sit there firmly because it really could go either way. But I'm not sure the bookies have got it like that, as 50-50 as I think the fight is. John Ryder, if he wins, he's going to call for another massive fight. He's going to be screaming Benavidez' name, Plant's name, Charlo's name. And he'll be warranted if he beats Munguia this early Sunday morning, the UK time. Now, Munguia, he's had nearly like 50 fights now, so he's going to be screaming for that Canelo fight if he gets the win. Now, this last minute I've been talking, a lot of ifs. And that's because the fight is so narrow, in my opinion. Does Munguia have enough? Yeah, he's got the power, but does he have enough to dispatch of John Ryder? I don't think so. So I feel like it will go to the distance. But will John Ryder outbox Munguia? I don't know. And that's why I think it's a cracking fight out in Phoenix, Arizona in the US. So yeah, you've got the Crocker Felix show in Belfast with the little occasion of Chef Clark against Tommy McCarthy. Then live streaming on the Queensberry channel, you've got Casey Kadimi fighting for the IBO World title. And then if you're staying up, if you've had your Red Bulls and you're staying up late at night to watch this massive event of Jaime Munguia against John Ryder, it's going to be a cracker. No matter how that ends, it's going to have devastating effects on the middleweight division. Because all of a sudden, John Ryder's back if he wins. And then all of a sudden, Munguia's screaming for a shot if he wins. So, can't wait for the review show for this one because it's just going to be crazy. But like I say, we only talk about the biggest, the best boxing on this channel, in the review and the preview show. This has been the preview show. I've been Lyndon Dixon. Take it easy, stay safe, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.